Hi, ladies and gentlemen, Morino Ravenberg here again. The topic that I'm going to discuss today is the Black Sun exercise. I went over my blog and there are one or two articles that I haven't done a video on, so I thought to myself, let me just do this. And I'm also going to keep it short in this video. The Black Sun exercise is an exercise that I came across that was covered by the American black magic occultist or black magician E.A. Quering, that goes by the pseudonym or alias E.A. Quering. And this Black Sun exercise, my intuition told me that it had potential. This was 2 years ago, over 2 years ago, that I did this exercise, that I mastered this exercise. It was in 2016, around October or September. And it simply involves envisioning a certain scenario, or astral traveling in a certain sense, or astral projecting in a certain sense. I'm going to link the article in the description below, so you can check out the article for all the links in it, including the link that leads to the video itself, in which E.A. Quering explains the Black Sun exercise. But let's get down to it. The Black Sun exercise is an exercise that involves you. That's why it's called the Black Sun exercise. It involves you envisioning or seeing yourself outside, and everything's normal with the exception of the fact that there is a black sun in the sky instead of a regular sun. And you're supposed to envision that scenario as realistically as possible. You're supposed to see the black sun and experience it, hear it, and feel it, in a matter of speaking, as realistically as possible, to the point where you are able to literally absorb the energy of the black sun, where you have literally stood underneath the black sun or under the black sun. And from what I can remember from that video, it simply proves, E.A. Quering says in that video in which he covers it, that in the beginning it's going to be hard, but later on you'll become better for it, and it will basically purge you from all negativities, to the point where you're able to see the reality and truth of things, instead of just being delusional or simply not being able to see what's in front of you, and not being able to see things for the way they really are. In any case, like I said, I mastered this exercise. I first started by astral traveling. So I didn't just envision it. You're supposed to just lie down at night and envision yourself going outside, and then seeing that black sun there, and then seeing the black sun there, and then just ending the exercise by coming back in. That's basically the gist of it. That's the short version of it. What I did, I decided to take it a step further. But before I get into that, I've already mentioned this in one or two previous videos. One of the videos being where it all began for me as an occultist. I performed this exercise when I was an absolute beginner, when I had no experience whatsoever, okay? I was just a wannabe occultist, to put it that way, crudely or bluntly put. And that exercise, I just tried it once or twice, and it floored me completely. It completely floored me. I felt worthless, I felt paralyzed mentally, and I was unable to move, I just felt lifeless, okay? I felt like life had no meaning, and I felt dead inside, to put it that way. And I recovered after a couple of days, and that's when I realized that this exercise is not for beginners. Fast forward then to when I was an actual beginning occultist. I was already working with two spirits, my patron and the infernal spirit Clonek from the Grimorium Verum. And again, this was in 2016, September or October 2016. And after I checked everything, my divinations indicated that yeah, it's going to bring in money and so on. I was like, huh? It's going to bring in money? Really? Okay. I didn't expect that, but I know that my divinations aren't wrong, so I just went to work, and I decided to take it a step further. By that time, I had, of course, already mastered astral traveling. So instead of just envisioning myself going outside, I literally went outside by by astral traveling, and I envisioned that black sun there once I was outside, and I made the experience as realistic as possible. And yeah, everything worked just fine. The only drawback is that I didn't see any people outside. Not drawback, but the differences, I mean, of course, the obvious differences between a normal scenario and a black sun scenario is that there are no people outside. Everything feels dead, but not in a negative way. Everything just feels the exact opposite of what a normal sun would feel like. Instead of radiating heat, that black sun radiates coldness, and it has some kind of it has some kind of gassy sound associated with it when those dark rays are emitting themselves over the earth and over the soil. And as a result, everything is dark. I found it really beautiful. I was like, wow, this is beautiful, but in a gothic or dark sense or way. And I didn't see any spirits. I remember I saw a Dramalech which took the shape of a stallion, a black stallion. I already, you can look on my blog if you're unfamiliar with who a Dramalech is. It's a pagan god that used to be worshipped, but that was demonized, and now he's seen as a demon or as an infernal spirit. Just look up Adramalech on my blog and you'll find it. In any case, in other instances, I also came across ghouls, just general malevolent entities, which came from the core of the black sun itself. And I just want to specify for people, it's not literally death, as in the same way that the normal sun gives life, that the black sun takes life. Nah. The black sun simply radiates the absence of life whatsoever. It just radiates death, but not death as in I saw vegetation and plants and flowers around me just not being there or just withering away. Nah. Everything was there, but again, it was like some gothic landscape in which the plants were completely dark. They weren't black, but they were dark, and they still thrived, but they thrived in a different way. Everything felt cold. And I occasionally went like this, despite the fact that I love the cold, but everything felt cold, and not in a physical way. Everything felt cold in a spiritual way, a mental or astral way. And yeah, after doing this exercise for a couple of times, I continued. I really did it a long time, I think 3 or 4 months. And yeah, it did increase my monthly income by $1,000 back then. I noticed that, and I also felt better and stronger. Okay, a lot of negativity, mental negativity, let's just say a lot of mental baggage that I was carrying with me, or astral baggage was burned away, was purged away, and I felt mentally as well as physically stronger, and I was in a better mood. I felt livelier, or I felt lively as opposed to before. Let's see, what else? The only drawbacks are the increasement of rage. I felt rage coming up inside me. I literally felt rage, as in the sense of I felt angry and hate-filled and so on. But I also need to specify, the same way that I specify in the article, that the black sun, the black sun itself doesn't see to all of these things. It simply amplifies your existing workings. So the black sun is an excellent amplifier for existing occult workings in terms of results, cultivating or obtaining results. So thereby I mean that since I was already busy working with with an income, and I was busy with a money or wealth working, and I was busy healing myself mentally and physically, the black sun simply accelerated all of those workings with the spirits I was already working with. But the black sun itself, as far as I know, does not lead in itself to those results. It can, but it wouldn't be as effective. And later on, at later stages, I think in the last month that I did that exercise, I mastered that. I also added another thing. I added an actual black sun, an occult black sun symbol, and I used that as a seal or sigil. And before I astral traveled, I scried that black sun seal first. You know, anybody that knows what scrying is, it's just and after that I started astral traveling. I did that right before I astral traveled, and Yeah, I remember the same way that if you scry something, scryers know this. If you scry something, aside from the flashing and it's that seal starting to glimmer, even if you close your eyes, you're still going to see that seal with your third eye in front of you. It's basically imprinted on you astrally. And yeah, when I did that, it did have an increased effect. And in the last month that I did that exercise, I remember too that all of a sudden the black sun was joined by a regular sun. For example, if I went outside, there would be multiple suns instead of just one black sun, like was the case previously. You had an opposing normal sun in the east, for example, and the black sun would be in the west. And both would go down simultaneously. Every now and then you had additional suns. A bunch of fantastic things came to pass in the last month that I tried that exercise, that I performed that exercise. But yeah, that's it. After a while, I simply felt like I had mastered the exercise, and it had no more. It had reached its peak with me in terms of results, and there was no more benefit that I could draw from it. It wouldn't have any better effect on what I did. So I basically already exhausted or wore out that exercise, to put it that way. And that's when I stopped. Again, read the article and you'll see everything. You'll see the Black Sun Occult seal that I used. You'll see a link to the original video, E.A. Kowaring's Black Sun exercise video, and so on.